The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
In congressional hearings, the minority party gets to select its own witnesses. And of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens. I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German.
All right, people, I am Marcus Gentry, your host of the Daily Read, and you just heard from Candace Owens. Candace Owens Farmer. She's a political activist for the Republican Party and the conservative movement. She was born April 29th, 1989. She's 30 years old, from Connecticut, Sanford, Connecticut. Now, she's married to what many would call a white supremacist out of England. Their white supremacy is different in England. He's a part of a political party in England that hates foreigners. They're cool with blacks who are English blacks, but they don't like African blacks. They don't like Arabs. They don't like Somalians. They don't like, and it's a difference. Today's show is going to be about the difference between the Uncle Tom syndrome and the Stockholm syndrome. Now, both of these syndromes are real. Both of these syndromes are something that affects the minority community as a whole. But the people that suffer these syndromes, they produce. They seem to have things going on in their lives that keeps money in their pocket, that keeps a wealth in their pocket, at the detriment of people of their own race, their own kind. And I think that the Uncle Tom syndrome is worse than the Stockholm syndrome. The reason why is because the Stockholm syndrome is a disorder where people know that the people that's oppressing their race, the people who don't like their race, they fall in love with these people. They even wind up marrying people like that, like Candace Owens did. In other words, Omarosa. Okay, Omarosa Manigault. Everybody know who she is. She's the one who's trying to get her black card back. She's the one who's going around saying that she saw a lot of things in the White House with Donald Trump and his administration that was racist. The thing about that is she's suffering from Uncle Tom syndrome. She knew that these people were not good. But she had her wedding in the White House, which is a dream come true for a lot of weddings are for women, a dream come true. She had traveled all over the world, places like Paris, France, Europe, Africa, and the whole time the administration is totally hating and hurting minorities, both Hispanic and blacks. Her syndrome is worse. The Uncle Tom syndrome is worse. Now, Candace Owens is a different ball game altogether. She's suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome is where she literally thinks that these people are for her. They're here to help her. They're here to make sure she keeps wealth in her pocket. You know, you take a small town black girl like her from small town America, fly her out to Europe, to England, and have her sitting in the cafes in England listening to all these English white people, and it's like a dream come true to her. She falls in love with this stuff, and she goes along with anything that they put forth. That clip you just heard was her talking about how Adolf Hitler considered himself a nationalist, and there was nothing wrong with what he was doing. It's just that he tried to do it outside of his country. She's lost her mind. She really thinks in her mind that, you know, there's nothing going on with the blacks in America. She really thinks in her mind that everything's good as long as we do what we supposed to do in life. You know, the syndrome she's suffering is far worse. Is far worse as a diagnosis than it's worse as a diagnosis, but it's not bad because she is suffering from a mental psychosis. Omarosa is not suffering from a mental psychosis. That's why her situation is even worse than Candace Owens. Because Omarosa knows that these people are out to build wealth just for the white people. She knows this. Her and Katrina Pearson. You know, these are black women. And there's a few black men. That's that black sheriff up in Wisconsin. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's a nutcase. But I think he's suffering from Stockholm syndrome. You know, he's been a sheriff deputy so long, running around chewing tobacco with his white buddies, you know, beating up on blacks, that he really thinks these people love him and he loves these people. He's suffering from what Candace Owens is suffering from. Then you had that black pastor who got exposed, who has never even went to a pastoral school. He got exposed on CNN. They sat down and had an interview with him, and he was in support of Trump. They found out he didn't even have a church. He was lying. Now, he was suffering from Uncle Tom syndrome. See, Uncle Tom syndrome is where they know that these people are corrupt, evil, bad, racist. They know it. But as long as they get to ride around in BMWs and keep millions in their pockets, they're going to go along and get along. They okay with it. You know, long as it ain't affecting their family. Long as it ain't affecting them flying around in jets. You know, they get to fly around in jets across the country. You know, they go to these rallies, ain't nothing but white people in the crowd hating on anybody that's not white, and they the only black face in there. And they think this is good. They special. You know, they feel like they special. These people are dangerous. They dangerous. And they all around you. They all around us, people. They dangerous. Let me give you a brief a few things that Candace Owens. This woman's a nutcase. Some of y'all need to go look her up. No, subscribe to her. Don't buy none of her books. Just Google her. Look her up. Read some of her crazy statements. You could look at her face and tell she's deeply in love with these people. She really thinks that everything that's going on with them and what they're doing is righteous. She said in 2017, Owens had become known in conservative circles for her pro-Trump commentary and for criticizing liberal rhetoric regarding structural racism, systematic inequality, and identity politics. 2017, she began posting politically themed videos on YouTube. She launched Red Pill Black, a website and YouTube channel that promotes black conservatives in the United States. She goes around telling other black people that there's nothing wrong in the United States. Black folks need to just straighten up. This goes to something deeper. This goes to light skin, black skin, white skin. And let me explain it. Let me break that down for all my people like me to break it down to you. In America, there is a such thing as white privilege. Okay? And white privilege has been going on since the beginning of this country's founding. Now, slowly, blacks have become a more powerful force in this country. Minorities have become a more powerful force in this country. So the white privilege is still more powerful than that, because they were the ones who came over here and conquered this country. So what's happening is everybody want to be light skinned because they can't be white, because they weren't born white, they black. But if you look at the way men approach women, you can have a group of women. You can have a group of women in the club, and the men will pass up the dark skinned women and go straight to the light skinned girl to try to holler at her. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then if there's a group of dark skinned girls with a white girl, half the guys will be trying to holler at the white girl. There's a reason behind that. That's conditioning. That's conditioning, people. This has been a long time in the making. That black is ugly, dark skin is ugly, light or white skin is pretty. It's a conditioning. And this conditioning that these people have went through over the years of their life pushed them in one or two categories. It pushed them into the Stockholm syndrome, or it pushes them into the Uncle Tom syndrome. Like I said, the Uncle Tom syndrome is when these people know that, these people are bad news. But as long as their pockets are still good, as long as money is still flowing in their families, they okay with police shooting unarmed black men in the back. Because they're going to stand up and say, well, he shouldn't have been there. He was doing something illegal. So we got to understand as a people that it's a psychosis going on. It's a psychosis going on. Everybody is into this social media era where if you show a dark-skinned baby, but if you show a light-skinned baby, ooh, he's so cute, because it's a social conditioning. You even got cream out here. This one of these girls was promoting some kind of skin lightening cream. Why? One of the top female rappers back in the late 80s, early 90s with Puffy and them, you can't even tell who she is today. You know, she was one of the hottest rappers with Biggie and them back in the day. And if you see her now, she looks horrible. She done bleached her skin light skin. She done had all this plastic surgery to look more like a white woman. She looks horrible. It's a conditioning, people. And when I get back, we're gonna go further into detail about this. We're gonna take our first commercial break, and when we get back, we're gonna dive a little deeper into this. This is the Daily Read.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Hi, I'm your host, Marcus Gentry from the Daily Read.
Hi, and I'm Shantae Gentry from Dreadhead Cutie.
Good.
Oh, I ain't supposed to talk in there.
You can talk. This is our slight commercial, letting you people out there that watch me on YouTube, Facebook know that it's important to vote. Your vote counts, people. What you think about that?
Yeah, for Bernie Sanders.
I like Bernie Sanders. He's pretty good, but I still think Joe Biden has a better chance of winning. But anyway,
Bernie Sanders 2020.
Well, this is our take on voting. You guys get out there, register to vote because your vote counts.
Every vote counts.
Peace.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, people, we're back. This is the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. On the first segment, we was talking about Candace Owens. She's a political operative for Donald Trump. This woman has denigrated black people all over this country. She went and married a European white man who in his own country, he's a radical. He's a radical full of hatred for minorities. And Representative Lieu, his name is Ted Lieu, called her out when she came and testified in Congress. He called her out because she was over there in Europe doing a speech that she didn't think Americans was going to ever hear about. And she got to talking about how Adolf Hitler, there's nothing wrong with being a nationalist. We all know what nationalists mean. Nationalists mean, you about white people. And she's over there in Europe talking about there's nothing wrong with being a nationalist like Adolf Hitler was. The problem with Adolf Hitler was he tried to push his agenda on the world. Even if he was doing it in his own country, it was something wrong with what he was doing. This woman is crazy. She's literally lost her mind. She is suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Not like Omarosa, not like Kanye West, not like Kanye West might have a taste of Stockholm syndrome. He just might have a taste of that. But Omarosa and Katrina Pearson, they're just Uncle Tom's. They have the Uncle Tom syndrome. These, and I'm finna read it for you. Uncle Tom syndrome is a theory of psychology. It refers to coping skills where individuals use passivity and submissiveness when confronted with a threat, leading to subservient behavior and appeasement while concealing their true thoughts and feelings. The term Uncle Tom comes from the title character Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. In American racial context now, Uncle Tom is a pejorative term for African Americans that give up or hide their ethnic or gender outlook traits, practices in order to be accepted into the mainstream. Conservative African Americans are often considered Uncle Toms. Now, to break that down further, like I said, Uncle Tom syndrome are people of a certain race. This really doesn't just concern blacks. This can be projected on any race who knows that another race is oppressing their people, who is against their people, but they use submissiveness and passivity to go along with it because they benefit from it. They okay. They kids won't get harassed by the police. They good. Now, Stockholm syndrome. I'm gonna read that for you. Stockholm syndrome is a conditioning which causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance with their captors during captivity. This term is first used in Blythe Media, 1973, when 4 hostages were taken during a bank robbery, and I think one of the hostages kind of fell in love with one of the bank robbers. You know, she didn't want to see no harm come to him. She fell in love with him. That's what you call Stockholm syndrome. But of course, it has a deeper meaning. It goes back to the time of Hitler, when the Jews were being killed. There were certain Jews that fell in love with Hitler and his movement. So that's Uncle Tom syndrome and Stockholm syndrome, and these people are suffering through that. You know, that goes back to, like I say, self-hatred. They have a self-hatred of their own race. They wish they were white. They wish they were white people. That's why you got the skin lightening cream going on, the cosmetic surgery, you know, and things of that nature. They go so far as to even denigrate or downgrade other black people, telling them that the situation they're going through is not real. It's all a it's all a figment of their imagination. You know, what you're going through is not real. You know, you don't believe your own eyes. Don't believe that, you know, a white man just shot a black man in the back. He was unarmed, and then a white jury just released him, let him go, because he said he thought his life was in danger. Just let him go. That's self-hatred. You know, people got to understand this. These are real diagnoses. Katrina Pearson, I'm going to get on her a little bit. Katrina Pearson is out of Texas, and she was a con woman. She was a thief. She has a criminal history. She was working and getting food stamps at the same time. They found out all this. They dug into her background because people couldn't believe that this light-skinned woman, black woman, was on national TV talking about supporting Donald Trump. So they dug into her background to see what type of background she is. She's an opportunist. She's suffering from Uncle Tom syndrome. She's not suffering from Stockholm syndrome. She knows that these people don't give a damn about black people. She knows this. But in her mind, Katrina Pearson is straight. She ain't got to steal no more. Donald Trump and the campaign is putting millions of dollars in her pocket, as long as she get on TV and talk bad about the people in her own race. She knows. Omarosa knew. Now she's out here running around here with book deals, talking about how bad it was in the White House, how it was bigots in the White House. These people knew. So you got to understand there's a difference. There's a difference between these two syndromes. One is they fall in love with they oppressors, they captors. The other one is they know that these people ain't good. They just go along with it anyway because it's putting bread in their pocket. The same way with that pastor, that lying pastor that got on TV a couple of years back, and they embarrassed him. He ran out the studio because they got to talking about his past and how they can't find his name nowhere in the record saying that he was actually a preacher. And they want to question him about that. They even looked up his website saying that he went to a certain university and was a part of a fraternity. They contacted the fraternity. The fraternity said, man, we ain't never heard of this guy. He's an opportunist. And he knows that these people are not good for him or anybody else. But as long as he's straight, as long as they putting bread in his pocket, he's good. And it goes back to self-hatred for who you are. This Candace Owens is the newest darling of the Trump she's the new darling of the Trump administration. You know, they done got rid of Omarosa. Now, it says here, Candace Owens opposes welfare, although she said that her family was on it at one time. Women's rights. She opposes abortion. She has called abortion a tool for the extermination of black babies. She says it is critical of feminism. Owens described to the Me Too movement and international movement against sexual harassment and assault as stupid. You know, she's crazy. She's crazy. And then a white woman called her out on national TV because Candace Owens' parents, when she was a juvenile, went to the NAACP for help in a harassment suit. And they asked her about it. She didn't want to talk about it. White people harassed her family. And she didn't want to talk about it. She won a lawsuit against some white people that harassed her family using the NAACP. And now she says she don't like the NAACP. She think it needs to be broken up and disbanded. You know. Some of y'all need to go and look this woman up. She's crazy. She's nuts. On this last segment, we're going to get into the sports call with Brother Porter. We haven't done a sports call in a while, and I'm gonna call him up, and we're gonna see if we can get the highlights of sports and stuff and see what's going on in the sports world. We got some boxing matches that happened here recently, football games, college and pro. So we're gonna call Brother Porter up on this next segment and see what his take is on some of the sports issues and things that's going on. This is the Daily Read. We'll be right back.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Hi, I'm your host, Marcus Gentry from the Daily Read.
Hi, and I'm Shantae Gentry from Dreadhead Cutie.
Good.
Oh, I ain't supposed to talk in there.
You can talk. This is our slight commercial, letting you people out there that watch me on YouTube, Facebook know that it's important to vote. Your vote counts, people. What you think about that?
Yeah, for Bernie Sanders.
I like Bernie Sanders. He's pretty good, but I still think Joe Biden has a better chance of winning. But anyway.
Bernie Sanders 2020.
Well, this is our take on voting. You guys get out there, register to vote because your vote counts.
Every vote counts.
Peace.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, good people. This is the Daily Read, and I'm your host, Marcus Gentry. I'm on the sports call with Brother Porter, and Brother Porter, are you there?
I'm here, brother. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. We just trying to get your take on the sports and what's been going on with you, man. We ain't heard from you in a couple of weeks.
Just been busy, bro. You know, it's been busy time of the year, man. You know, especially what we do. Been real busy, bro. I mean, I missed you yesterday, though.
Yeah. Man, I had my company did a Christmas party, and I was trying to win one of them TVs down there, so I went down there, to support. I've been there 6 years, so I usually go to every one of the Christmas parties, see what's going on with it. And last year I didn't win nothing but a $20 gift card. This year I won a phone virtual reality faceplate. It looks pretty nice. Yeah, I ain't dived in it yet. My old lady, she's doing most of that. She plays with it a little bit. But today we had a pretty interesting show, man. It was on this new woman, Candace Owens. She's the new Omarosa. They done got rid of Omarosa. She's trying to get her black card back. And now that they got this new girl, she's married to an English man. His name George Farmer. He's a white supremacist over there in England, and she's married to him. And it's foolishness, man. But I read to the audience, there's two syndromes going on in the black community when it comes to people like this. One of them is called the Uncle Tom syndrome, and the other one is called the Stockholm syndrome. Now, I was reading the differences between it. You see, Omarosa, she we gonna get to the sports in a minute. We got time. We got almost 20, 30 minutes.
I'm interested in this, brother.
Yeah, okay. Omarosa, she has the Uncle Tom syndrome. Now the difference is the Uncle Tom syndrome is black folks who know that the white oppressors are against black people, but they go along with it because they have money in their pocket. They're good. Their family is good. Now, the Stockholm syndrome is a little different. This is where people who are oppressed fall in love with their oppressors and go along with the things that they do to oppress their people. See, that's the difference. Both of them are crazy as hell, but the Uncle Tom syndrome, these people actually have a conscious thought that they know that these people, like Omarosa said when she got out the White, and they kicked her out the White House, she saw a lot of racial stuff going on and this and that. See, she already knew. But this woman, Candace Owens, I think she's nut. She's a nut. I don't think she has a clue. She's suffering from the Stockholm syndrome. And so what's your take on that, Brother Porter?
Well, it's funny that you said that this is your topic, because I was just having this conversation the other day. Somebody had sent me a thing on Facebook where there's a professor went to Congress and asked the Congress people for them to raise their hand if it was okay with the way black people was being treated. And nobody raised their hand. So she said, you guys aren't following my instructions. She said, if you think it's okay and want to change places with black people and get the same treatment that they get, and you think it's fair and okay, raise your hand. And nobody raised their hand.
That's right.
I think that kind of thing goes over on today's side too, because a lot of people, they can pretend like they don't know. They might come from an area where it ain't no black people. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't have to deal with it, as such.
Right.
But you know, it's there.
That's right.
It's totally there, you know. So you can't ignore it.
That's right.
You can't pretend like it's not there.
That's right. And you know, that goes back to self-hatred too. You know, these people suffer from these psychoses because there is a long going white privilege in this country. It's ongoing. And people always identify lighter skin or white as good and dark skin as bad or troublesome. And that's why you got all of this lightning cream skin going on around here. You got this cosmetic surgery. People trying you if you're born black, you can't change your blackness. But they want to be lighter skinned because even though there's white privilege in this country, light skinned people get more of a pass. Say now they don't get a pass all the time. They still black, but they get more of a pass than darker skinned people. They're more accepted. And that goes towards this psychosis that a lot of these people are having when it comes down to the Uncle Tom syndrome and the Stockholm syndrome. So
That's a big slavery concoction, though, man. Because you know everybody knows during the slavery times, you know that the white people had the best looking slaves in the front, right?
Right.
And the darker you was, you know, probably the worse it was on you, right?
That's right.
But I'm a light skin brother.
You conscious though. You conscious. You woke though.
I'm black.
That's right. You woke.
So,
you conscious.
So I experienced this on bad on both sides. I have, you know.
Right.
You know, I mean, you get some black folks don't like you because you light skin, which is okay because they in that I don't want to call them Uncle Tom, but they in that it's a hate syndrome they got. Right?
Yeah.
That's the only that's it. But you know, I mean, generally, if white folks ain't gonna really hang out with darker colored people. It's just not in their nature, right?
Right.
Unless they doing it for a show.
Right.
It for a show. They want somebody to know that it's acceptable or cool for them to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those are two different things. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So it's out there, man.
It is.
I hate the people gotta deal with that, man.
I'm gonna give me some phone lines in here, man, and I got my phone line in here, but I need to get me a good operating conference phone. That way I can start taking calls on different topics that I have on the show. This will be I might revisit this topic when I get my phone lines in, so I can have people in the community called in and see what's going on. You know, cause I want to hear people's output on it, man. It's a good thing, man. But, you know, we got about 15 more minutes on the show. And I want you to dive into these sports, man, and tell me what's going on. Tell the audience what's going on in the sports world.
Oh, yes, all things, brother. Hey, my boys is doing their thing with the 49ers right now, brother.
Okay.
I'm so excited about that, man. You know, I really, really am, because we have a tough year every year after year after year. So you got to get to where you can win and show them, it don't matter if they cheat us or not, we still headed to that bowl, right?
Right. So I forgot you a Saints fan. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got big money on this game today, brother. Somebody either gonna get it. Oh, he almost got in there. Oh, yeah, he almost got in there. Yeah, but you know, I like to get my picks, right? Mm-hmm. So of course, I couldn't pick Dallas this week. Hey, Dallas don't forgot how to play football, man. I don't know what. They better not give that Prescott no money. They better not give him no money, man. They better start searching, right?
They've been in controversy. They've been in controversy with fights. Didn't Dallas get into a little brawl or something not too long ago?
Yeah, they always brawling, man. You know what I mean? They brawling, but they still mostly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, get in there. Oh, you know, he's a half an inch short. Half an inch short, okay? Then you about to bust the gates up in just a second. But what Dallas got going on is some of your topic today. Dak Prescott is a light-skinned quarterback.
Oh wow. he think he
and
privileged.
Jerry Brown Jones has him on the front porch answering the door for him, right?
He think he privileged.
He think he privileged.
Oh man.
Man, but of course, hey, you got Lamar Jackson, bro. That little dude is a phenomenal football player.
Mm-hmm.
He can't make it to the Super Bowl because we ain't gonna let him, right? But I pick him to beat the Bills. You know, he done something that ain't nobody did this year. He beat some undefeated teams. Then he's showing out.
Okay.
You know, I got the Chiefs today gonna beat the Patriots, man. I'm always against the Patriots, man, because they just some cocky folks, man. And I am really, really impressed with the Tennessee Titans, man.
Okay.
I'm impressed with them because they have really, really over the past couple of weeks have come to play some football to say grab their kahunas and put Mariota on the bench.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
Now,
So Mariota.
I don't know if it's luck.
So Mariota was the problem. He was the problem.
Man, I'm seeing the team jail now. I'm seeing them. You know, I don't know if this Mariota was scared or maybe there's a conflict within his relationship with the people he plays with.
You
know, most people say he's scared, man, because they let him get hurt. I want to say that, man, but you know, it's serious, man. You know, the team is that much different, and they've been on a win streak without him. You know, that's a major concern, man. He might find himself on a chopping block here this season.
Right. That don't sound good.
And I hope that the Titans don't make this mistake. I hope they don't make Derrick Henry a franchise running back and give him that low paying money, and then that way they give the money to the white boy. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's not what they're gonna do, man, because Tennessee's done this in history. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They did it with Steve McNair, and they did it with Eddie George, and then all of a sudden, guess what? They stopped playing football, man. And Derrick Henry is a good running back, when that man runs like a Brahma bull. He runs straight up and down, smash mouth football with John Madden would have called it, right?
Right.
You know, so I tell you something else. Another familiar name came out of Tennessee. You ever heard of Lane Kiffin?
No, I'm not familiar with his name.
Lane Kiffin came to be Tennessee's head coach for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Jump ship on him. But he got hired yesterday as Ohio State, Ole Miss's quarterback.
Wow.
Coach.
Wow.
That's kind of huge that he's moving around and he's back in the SEC, you know?
Right. Well, you know, when they make moves like that, man, I think the NFL pays more than college, but they going after their legacy. You know, when coaches do a move like that, they go after their legacy, man, because he probably saw his legacy as a coach wasn't gonna go nowhere in NFL, but he might be able to establish a long-lasting legacy in the SEC or one of these conferences, man. So he's probably going after legacy.
Well, this is interesting how you show, but I got a couple good things. I see Ohio State in the top five anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In football, Ohio State won Big 12. This is their third one in a row. LSU done won the SEC championship. They destroyed Georgia, which we knew was going to happen anyway. Because if Alabama didn't have a quarterback, when they still have their quarterback, they would have played Auburn a little bit tougher last week. But Auburn was the bulldog, and I do want to call them out on that because Auburn, Alabama, SEC has always been a tough match.
Right.
And everybody's always talking about
I was just about to say, I was just about to say that, man. Alabama last year, man, was smashing people, wasn't it?
yeah, but I can't go too soon and say that Nick Saban's dynasty is done because that dude recruits out of kindergarten, right?
Okay.
I can't say he's done, but he's got a little rebuilding room right here. He's gonna have to do some rebuilding, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not just offense, but defense too. Plus, he's losing a lot of players this year. But he went up against them Auburn Tigers, and out of the last 20 times that these two teams have played, everybody's always saying Alabama. But Auburn's winning this battle of the Orange Bowl. I'm a big Auburn fan. I like to keep my teams in the news. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Auburn has won 12 of the last 20 games. Just a little edge over there, and Nick Saban's been in there for some years. So, I think this is a sign of things to come. But injury does add the illness, right?
Right.
Who knows what's going on? He'll probably pull a rabbit out of the hat next season because he's gonna have a long off season this year because he ain't going to no ball game.
Well, hey, that and that's one thing I always say, man. Sometimes they hit a little hard in college because they want to get to the pros. Now I done seen some hard hitting pro players, but man, college, man, they go all the way out because they want to impress the NFL, man, to pick them up, So that's something that I'm glad you own that, man. But like I said last year, man, all I heard was Alabama. That's all I was hearing, Alabama last year. And
these other schools don't play as hard as the SEC, man. Their conference is not tough. When you got the SEC Southeastern Conference, that's what it's called, right?
Right.
That is the toughest pound for pound, every team gonna beat you down conference, right? That's how it is. And these guys play tough games in their division, out of their division. But you got these other schools like Clemson and Ohio State and teams like this that's making a name for themselves because they win in big games. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, they might not play as tough. That's the only thing I really don't agree with I think it's working out the way it's supposed to work out this year. This is the first year I think I want to say that against all odds, you got a team that's undefeated and they lose, and then they lose later on in the season, they out of it, and that's what's happening to Alabama, man.
Oh, okay.
Same thing happened to Georgia. Georgia probably messed around and not being in nothing too. You know what I mean? It was tight like that. They said this might be the first year you don't have an SEC team in the BCS, and that's serious, man. That's serious because football's changing the way.
Wow.
Because people going to schools where they want to be noted at. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It ain't no more about they won the most rings. People want to go where they can get seen at. It's the only chance of going to the next level nowadays. The market's gotten bigger, so they figure they got to go to a bigger school, right?
Right.
But I'm looking at this one of my neighbor's sons, man. This dude is 6'2", 240, right? He's a linebacker, right? 17 years old. Plays football for Pearl Cone. I got to give them a shout out. They just made it to state championship here. They did lose, but these boys had a heck of a season, man. But this dude, man, I've been watching all of these colleges come to his house. You know what I mean?
Wow.
To sign this young man, free ride scholarship. Everybody that's come has offered him a free ride scholarship. And guess what? He ain't even signed with nobody yet. He's signing with his mama.
Well, you know what? Hey, sometimes mother know best. She probably won't.
The thing of it is he said he don't want to focus on football until he gets out of high school.
That's good. That's good.
He said, season is done with. He said, I need to make sure I can help my mama and get my mama to where she can move around without me.
Right.
Because I help my mama a lot with my little brothers and sisters. I'm looking back at this young man, man. That's maybe you need to do the next show on that, man. Because this will be my big initiatives, man, about these young fellas, man. We got to find a way to tap into these young brothers, man. We lose them by the wayside, man. You know what I mean? And this young man right here, man, he's going to go pro. He's going to go pro at this size already, his speed. He was on ESPN TV last week. You know what I mean? And some of the same cats that I know he hangs out with, these other cats that walk around here with guns and stuff, man. And we, you can't, there's exceptions to the rule. You got people that's going to make it out, and you got people that ain't.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But we got to find out how to bring some of these other brothers, these other youngsters back, man, because that's what the issue is, man. There's too many of these young brothers, man.
That's
too
right.
Many.
And like I say, that goes into the whole moral of the topic that we were discussing today. You have certain individuals who suffering from the Uncle Tom syndrome or the Stockholm syndrome, who would look at that and see an individual who's good and is trying, but a lot of people around him are not on that same page, and then they'll say, see, I told you. But that's not the case. All black people ain't corrupt. All black people don't have problems. It's a certain few people out here who have situations in life that's out of control. But people like this Candace Owens cat, she should know better, but I don't think she does. I think she's suffering from that syndrome where she done fell in love with these people. Like, when you take a small town black girl and send her to England and let her sit in one of those cafes with these rich white people who don't like immigrants, and she thinks she's a part of them, when they really probably don't even like her neither. So it all goes back to that, man. We got to each one teach one.
That's right.
Yeah, man. But I'm gonna work on my show for next week, man, and we finna wrap it up. I'm pressing towards the hour, and we're gonna wrap the show up, man. And I appreciate you, brother Porter.
Hey, glad to be back on, man.
Yeah. We ain't going nowhere, cause guess what? This is a privately owned show, and we're gonna be here, man. And when I go syndicated, like I said, I'm taking you with me, brother.
I'm with you. All right. I got something to tell Stephen A. Smith when we get there.
Okay, that's right. All right, that was the sports call with Brother Porter. Thank you, Brother Porter.
All right, man. Have a good one, brother.
All right, travel light.
Some more to be.
It's more to be. And that was my brother Porter, man, from the sports call. And we're gonna stay in contact, brother Porter, man. He does the sports. I'm more of a political guy, because I believe in having your leisure time and playing sports and things of that nature. But I don't want us as a minority community to bank on that alone. Entertainment, football, basketball, rapping, singing, entertaining people. We have so much more to offer, but I still, understand the want to get off stress playing sports and having your leisure time, because I play video games. That's one of my outreaches to younger people, and I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel on some of the it's called Old Man Gamer. A 40-year-old's take on new age video games. So I'm working on some things, people, to get the younger crowd involved in taking a political stance on things that's affecting them. So this is the Daily Read, and I'm your host, Marcus Gentry. We'll see you next week.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.